freedom doesn't begin with $1 million. It begins with a number, a very specific number. It's the amount of money you need to live the life you want without depending on a paycheck every month. The problem is that most people have never taken the time to calculate that number. They know how much they earn. They know how much they still owe on their mortgage. They know the cost of their car, gas, groceries, and utility bills. But when
Maybe
they're
your
asked
investment
exactly how
portfolio is
much
still
money
small
would you
today,
need to never have to work
maybe
again,
$1 million still
very
feels
few
like a
people
distant
can answer.
dream.
That's
But one
why
day
so
when you
many
look
spend their
back,
entire
you'll
lives
realize
running
that the
faster on
hardest
financial
part wasn't
treadmill.
earning the first
Their
million.
income increases.
The hardest part
but
was
so do
having the
their
courage to
expenses.
begin
A
before you
promotion
could see
leads
the
to a
results.
bigger mortgage.
If you start
nicer
today,
car,
your
more
future
expensive
self will thank
vacations.
you.
From
But
the
if you keep
outside, they
waiting for
appear
the
wealthy.
perfect time,
In
there's a
reality,
good
they're simply
chance you'll
funding a
still
more
be standing in the
expensive
same
lifestyle with
place
their
years
time
from
and
now.
energy.
Time will
I've seen
pass
this
whether you
pattern
invest
over
or
and
not.
over again in the
The only
United
question
States,
is this:
Singapore,
as time passes,
and many other
will
developed
your money
economies.
quietly be working for you?
Some people earn
Or will you still be trading your
$250,000 a
time for
year
money every single
and still
day?
couldn't afford to stop
That
working
choice
for more
has
than a few
never
months.
belonged to the market.
Meanwhile,
It has
others
always
earn only
belonged to
half as
you.
much. Yet
Thank
they
you for
have the
spending your
freedom
time
to
with me
decide whether
and
they
watching
want to work
all
at
the
all.
way to the end.
The difference is
If
in
you found
income.
today's
It's
discussion
how they build
valuable
wealth.
and you'd like to keep
Research
learning
in
about
behavioral
investing,
finance points to
financial
another
freedom,
fascinating reality.
and building lasting
Once
wealth,
our
be sure
basic needs
to
are met,
like this
happiness
video
doesn't
and subscribe to
continue
the
rising
channel
in
so you don't
proportion to
miss future
income.
episodes.
What creates
Every
lasting
week, we'll
peace of
explore
mind isn't
time-tested
making more
financial
money.
principles,
It's
break
knowing
down
you
the
always have
economic
choices.
trends that matter most,
You can walk away
and
from a
learn how to
toxic
make
job.
money work for our
You can
lives
take time to care
instead
for
of
your
spending
aging
our lives
parents.
working for money.
You can spend a few months
Until next
traveling,
time,
learning a
take
new
care,
skill,
keep
or
investing in
pursuing
your
a
future,
project you're truly
and I'll
passionate
see you in the
about.
next video.
That's the real value of money. Money can't buy more time, but it can give you back the power to decide how you spend your time. And that's exactly why today's video isn't about getting rich overnight, doubling your investment in a few months, or chasing flashy money-making opportunities you see all over social media. Instead, I want to answer a much simpler, but far more important question with you. How much money do you really need before you no longer have to trade your time just to pay the bills? Because once you know that number, every financial decision you make begins to change. You'll know how much you should save, where you should invest, which financial traps you need to avoid. And most importantly, you'll realize that financial freedom isn't some vague dream reserved for a lucky few. It's a destination you can calculate, plan for, and achieve if you're willing to be patient. In today's video, we're going to break down the process step by step to uncover your true financial freedom number. Not the number social media wants you to believe, but the number that actually fits your life. Because sometimes what keeps us trapped isn't a lack of money. It's simply never knowing how much we truly need. So let's begin with a small shift in the way we think. When people talk about retiring early or achieving financial freedom, most of them start with the wrong question. They ask, how much do I need to invest? But that's not the first question. The first question should be, how much does my life actually cost? It sounds simple, but this is where every successful financial plan begins. After years of working with families, entrepreneurs, and people preparing for retirement, I've noticed something fascinating. Most people have a pretty good idea of how much they earn each year, yet they have no clear idea how much it actually costs to maintain their lifestyle. Those are two completely different numbers. Your income tells you how much money comes in. Your expenses determine how much wealth you need to become financially free. Imagine two people. The first earns $300,000 a year, but spends almost every dollar. They own a large house, drive 2 luxury cars, take expensive vacations, and carry a long list of monthly payments. The second earns only $120,000 a year. They live in a comfortable home, invest consistently, avoid chasing every new consumer trend, and always set aside part of their income for the future. If both of them lost their jobs tomorrow, who do you think would feel more at peace? In most cases, it would be the second person, because wealth isn't measured by how much you earn. It's measured by how long you could continue living well if your paycheck stopped tomorrow. That's why financial professionals often rely on a well-known guideline called the 4% rule. The idea is straightforward. If your investment portfolio is large enough and properly diversified, you may be able to withdraw around 4% of its value each year while giving your savings a reasonable chance of lasting for decades. Here's a simple example. If you need about $40,000 a year to cover your living expenses, your financial freedom target would be roughly $1 million. If you need $80,000 a year, that target grows to around $2 million. Now, this isn't a perfect formula for everyone, Markets go through periods of volatility, inflation changes over time, and every family has unique circumstances. But what matters is that, for the first time, you have a measurable goal. A clear destination is always easier to reach than a vague dream. There's something else I want to share, something many people overlook. That number is often much smaller than they imagine. Because once people become honest about what they truly need, they usually realize that many of their expenses were driven by habit or social pressure rather than genuine happiness. We live in a world where success is often measured by what other people can see: a bigger house, a newer car, a more expensive watch, or a luxury vacation that's perfect for social media. But the market doesn't reward you for looking wealthy. The market rewards patience. That's why I always tell my clients, let your investment portfolio impress your bank account, not your neighbors. One of the greatest lessons I've learned throughout my career is that people who achieve financial freedom are rarely the ones living the flashiest lifestyles. Most of them seem surprisingly ordinary. They keep their cars longer. They stay in the same home for years. They don't replace their phone just because a new model comes out. They don't buy everything they can afford. Instead, they buy something far more valuable. They buy time. Now let's talk about how to make that happen. You don't need to find the perfect stock. You don't need to predict the next recession, and you certainly don't need to buy at the exact bottom and sell at the exact top. Over the past century, the global economy has survived recessions, wars, inflation, financial crises, pandemics, and countless other disruptions. Yet over the long run, great businesses have continued to innovate, generate profits, and grow. That's why more and more investors choose low-cost global index funds. Instead of betting on a handful of companies, they own hundreds or even thousands of businesses around the world. They don't have to guess which company will become the next winner. They're investing in the growth of the global economy itself. It may sound boring. And honestly, it is. But the truth is, successful investing is usually boring. If you invest consistently every month, regardless of whether the market is up or down, you're taking advantage of one of the most powerful forces in modern finance: compound growth. Albert Einstein has often been credited with calling compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he actually said it remains debated, but the principle behind the quote is absolutely true. During the first few years, you may barely notice a difference. Your portfolio grows slowly. Sometimes the market declines, making it feel like all your effort has been wasted. But eventually, something remarkable happens. Your returns begin generating their own returns. Your wealth no longer grows only because of the money you contribute each month. It begins creating money on its own. That's the moment many people call the financial tipping point. And here's the fascinating part. That tipping point only arrives for those who are patient enough not to quit too soon. Unfortunately, many people walk away just before the power of compounding truly begins to work. They look at their portfolio after 3 years and decide it's growing too slowly. They see friends bragging about huge profits from speculative investments and become impatient. They forget that building wealth and gambling are two completely different paths. One path is slow, but the odds of long-term success are remarkably high. The other may look exciting, but it can wipe out years of hard-earned savings with a single bad decision. In the end, financial freedom isn't the result of one brilliant investment. It's the result of thousands of small decisions repeated consistently over many years. Choosing to invest instead of consume, choosing patience instead of impulse, choosing to build real wealth instead of chasing the appearance of wealth. They may seem like ordinary choices, but over time, those ordinary choices can create an extraordinary life. There's one thing I've come to realize after years of studying economics and talking with people who have truly achieved financial freedom. The biggest difference between them and everyone else isn't intelligence. It isn't luck. And it certainly isn't earning the highest salary. What sets them apart is that they understand one simple truth. Money isn't the goal. Money is simply a tool that buys you choices. When we're young, many of us believe the purpose of life is to make as much money as possible. But as the years go by, many people discover that what they truly want isn't more money. It's more time. Time to wake up on Monday morning without feeling overwhelmed. Time to enjoy dinner with family without constantly checking work emails or messages. Time to take care of their health before their body forces them to slow down. And time to pursue the things that give life meaning. That's the greatest asset money can provide. Throughout my career, I've met many people who reached the end of successful careers with bank accounts most people could only dream of. But what made them the proudest wasn't the amount of money they had accumulated. It was the ability to say no when it mattered. No to a job that drained them. No to decisions driven by other people's expectations. No to the fear that one unexpected event could destroy everything they had built. That's what freedom really is. And freedom will always be worth more than luxury. If there's one message I hope you remember after watching this video, it's this. Stop comparing the first chapter of your life to someone else's final chapter. Every person starts from a different place, with a different income, a different family situation, a different set of opportunities. What matters isn't where you are today. What matters is whether you choose to start building your future today. You don't need to invest tens of thousands of dollars overnight. You don't need to become a stock market expert. And you certainly don't need to predict where the economy will be next year. What you need is a clear plan, a consistent investment strategy, and enough patience to let time do the rest. Because real wealth is rarely created overnight. It's built through smart decisions repeated consistently over decades. There's a quote I've always loved. People tend to overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, but underestimate what they can achieve in 20 years. That's the power of time. And it's also the power of persistence. Maybe your investment portfolio is still small today. Maybe $1 million still feels like a distant dream. But one day when you look back, you'll realize that the hardest part wasn't earning the first million. The hardest part was having the courage to begin before you could see the results. If you start today, your future self will thank you. But if you keep waiting for the perfect time, there's a good chance you'll still be standing in the same place years from now. Time will pass whether you invest or not. The only question is this: as time passes, will your money quietly be working for you? Or will you still be trading your time for money every single day? That choice has never belonged to the market. It has always belonged to you. Thank you for spending your time with me and watching all the way to the end. If you found today's discussion valuable and you'd like to keep learning about investing, financial freedom, and building lasting wealth, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes. Every week, we'll explore time-tested financial principles, break down the economic trends that matter most, and learn how to make money work for our lives instead of spending our lives working for money. Until next time, take care, keep investing in your future, and I'll see you in the next video.